A bike with a motor will always be easier on the body than one without, right? An analog bike is physically more demanding and carves up calories in a way that e-mountain bikers can only dream of. Or, on the other hand, do e-bikes allow you to get to places so technically and physically demanding that on an analog bike, you simply have to get off and push, and thereby reducing the pace and also your heart rate? Now, for reasons beyond me, I've never actually tried. So, in order to give the eMTB a chance, we have chosen a road as our location. What's technical about a road, you may ask? Well, this is no ordinary road. It's a forgotten road. A bit like one of the bikes I'll be riding, or at least attempting to ride. Yeah. We have 3 bikes in this challenge: the beautiful Track Fuel EX at 12 kilos, the Track Fuel EXE, which is a mid-assist bike, and my full power Husqvarna. Now, ahead of me is 1 mile dead. We're going to be measuring heart rate, time, and actually whether I can make it on an analog bike. This is my first time on such a bike in 6 years. Okay, here's the Fuel EX, analog, don't have to worry about mode, and here we go. 3, 2, 1, and we're away. My heart rate is about 75 as I begin. Keep the pace. I've got no idea what pace to start off at. Maybe I've already gone too hard. Not done this in 6 years. I mean, didn't need to say that I haven't spent a lot of time on mountain bikes. I've got 6 years of expectation built into my muscle memory. And then into mud. Oh, this is horrific. This is horrific. Why am I doing this? Oh man, this is brutal. This is absolutely torture. Oh man, it's easy to walk. I'm actually pushing faster than riding. Not in a million years will I ride this. I'd like to give it a go though. Oh, it's just so slippery. Come out of the woods, a pair of ruts. There's the road. There's the road. What was the most noticeable was there are times when, because the bike is so light, it's like 12, 13 kilos, it's quicker for me to go on foot than it was to ride the bike. I'm sure lighter, fitter people will just breeze up there, but for me, that was like, I'd say that was 70-30 in terms of riding and walking. Well, probably a bit less, probably 80-20, but right, I'll not deny it. I'm definitely coming from a place of pain. On the previous run, I'm definitely anticipating that things will be significantly different now that I've gone to the Track Fuel EXE from the Track Fuel EX. The crazy thing is, I mean, guys, the difference between the 2 bikes is barely noticeable, but having said that, I definitely hope there will be a difference on the hill and I won't be pushing up that rocky section. So here we go, 3, 2, 1. Already the difference is massive, massive difference. This is actually another world. This is mountain biking. This is mountain biking. But this feels so capable relative to that EX or any other mountain bike. Loose blocks everywhere. It is tough. It is tough. It is tough. Grab with the hand. Come on, get in there. Yes! Yes! Come on! Okay. Done the sting. Ooh, don't fall in the river. There's the rut. Line choice. Keep it in there. Put things in perspective. Just do Feels like the best bike I've ever ridden. Honestly, not kidding. Whoa! Crucify it. And that has been, yeah, it was tough. It was tough on the steps. But me. Whoa! I think I've just had my blind spot very rudely revealed on that climb. I think in the past I've always approached the low to mid assist bikes coming from a full power background. I've just done the climb in I think it was almost 18 minutes on the Fuel EX. I've pretty much halved the time on the Fuel EXE. Honestly, it's one of the best e-bikes I have ever ridden. Shall I repeat that? One of the best e-bikes I've ever ridden. I've ridden this bike a lot, but I've obviously not done it. I've not come from the right direction. Now I've come from the right direction. It really does put it in perspective. It shows how great a bike it is, a technical, a steppy, rooty, slippery ground. And until you get into that terrain, it's only then you can see the big, big difference between an analog bike and an e-bike. Next up is the Husqvarna Mountain Cross. Goodness knows what's going to happen there. I think I had what can only be described as a bit of mild euphoria at the end of that last run on the Fuel EXE. Remember, that's 50 Newton meters, 140, 150. We're now onto the Husqvarna 150, 160, Shimano EP8 motor, and I'm thinking this could be different again. 3, 2, 1, go. Whoa! Splashing through the puddles. Whoa. If you're doing a sustained climb like this, you could be going up a mountain. Really physical. Okay, strategic move there. Into the right line. Whoa. Peppering this track. I've got this in front of me. Oh, savage. Savage. I've done it. Yes. Oh, I tell you what, guys, I'm so looking forward to piece of cake. Okay, gully time, rut time, focus time, mistake time, speed's losing time. Oh, what an idiot. There she is. There she is. There she is. One new record. One new record. Well, I'm afraid the coffee shop was closed for refurb, so we had to have lunch, a Welsh ploughman's in a restaurant. So it was a bit inappropriate to do this conclusion in such a place. But what a revisit, my first time on a mountain bike in 6 years. It was quite a miserable experience, I have to say. It was truly horrible. But what about the results? Well, the Fuel EX, I mean, amazing bike, 12 kilos. It was a Project 1 bike. It was quite a challenge, I have to say. It was a miserable experience, like I mentioned, because the reason for that, I think, is when you're riding trail centers or forest tracks, there's no resistance. But when you're in an arm wrestle with rock upon rock and root and steps, it really does suck the life out of you. And I think the time of 17 minutes 11 kind of reflects the pain that I had to go through in that, well, it was a road after all, road experience. Interestingly, the heart rate, now we've got a 125 beats per minute average and a 152 max. Now I'll compare that with the Fuel EXE and the Husqvarna in a minute, but it's quite interesting that 27% of my time was in zone 4. And remember, there's 5 heart rate zones. Zone 4 is obviously one of the highest. For me, 17 minutes, if you think about it, you're going to do a 17-minute climb. You can probably do 2 climbs and descents in an hour. So when we look at the results of the Husqvarna and the Trek Fuel EXE, remember the heart rate zones and the heart rates, the average heart rates, don't actually count for as much as you'd think, because you're going to be doing so many more runs per hour on the e-bikes. So what were the times on the Fuel EXE? I think I did hint on this earlier in the video. 10 minutes 23, so that's a 7-minute reduction in the time. But I think what's really interesting about this is that 60% of that run was in zone 4, 6 minutes 15 in zone 4. So that's quite, it goes to show that's quite, quite a workout nonetheless, even though it was an e-bike. And I think for me, when I was riding that e-bike, it literally felt like I had wings going up the stream bed. I think for me, it's that perspective, which I might have already mentioned, is that previously when I've come to mid-assist bikes, I've come from a full power e-bike and they're not quite as powerful. Whereas when I've now come from a mountain bike perspective, it's like, wow, this is absolutely mind-blowing. So yeah, a lot faster, 7 minutes faster, average heart rate of 116 and max heart rate of 149. Remember, the max heart rate on the Fuel EX was 152. And finally, the Husqvarna mountain cross with my Pirelli tyres on, 3 minutes faster. I mean, that's not really a surprise, but I think what it goes to show is that the two e-bikes are pretty much in a different sport to the traditional mountain bike, because think about it, I'd have probably been able to do about 5 of those runs on the same track, the same climb, same descent in an hour. So I think it was a really interesting comparison. I've not done it, I've got no idea why I haven't done it before, but for me, it really does set a new perspective. It did, as I mentioned, it did show my blind spot, my kind of unconscious bias when it comes to mid-assist e-bikes. So I'm definitely going to go out there and put myself through the grinder on traditional mountain bikes again, because I think it does get you a different mindset. If you guys are thinking about trying mid-assist bikes, what I'll say to you, get on a mountain bike first, and it really will shine a new light on them. So there you go, some head-to-heads which were miserable, but nonetheless quite interesting. Let us know your thoughts.